On the morning of February 19th, 2013, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez climbed to the roof of the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. For days, guests had been complaining about low water pressure, a strange odor, and discolored tap water coming from their hotel sinks and showers. On the roof sat 4 giant cylindrical water tanks supplying the building. Lopez climbed the ladder to the top of one of the tanks, opened the heavy access hatch, and looked inside. Floating face up in the water, roughly 12 inches below the rim, was the body of 21-year-old Canadian tourist Elisa Lam. Her clothes were floating alongside her. She had been missing for 18 days. What followed would become one of the most famous, debated, and agonizing missing person cases in modern history. An extraordinary viral video, a hotel with a notoriously dark past, and endless online speculation created a web of conspiracy around her death. But beneath the internet lore lies a deeply human tragedy, a factual narrative documented by police records, autopsy reports, and court testimony. Elisa Lam, also known by her Cantonese name Lam Hoe, was born in Vancouver, British Columbia, on April 30th, 1991. The daughter of immigrants from Hong Kong, she was a student at the University of British Columbia. Elisa was creative, articulate, and active online, regularly maintaining a blog on Tumblr where she shared her thoughts, fashion interests, and personal struggles. Elisa had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. She was prescribed 4 different medications to manage her symptoms: Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel, and Effexor. While her mental health journey had ups and downs, she was ambitious and longed to see the world. In early January 2013, Elisa decided to take a solo trip across California, calling it her West Coast tour. She traveled by Amtrak train and intercity buses, stopping in San Diego and Santa Cruz before arriving in Los Angeles on January 26, 2013. She maintained strict contact with her parents, calling them every single day to let them know she was safe. When Elisa arrived in downtown Los Angeles, she checked into the Cecil Hotel on Main Street. Built in 1924, the historic 600-room hotel had originally catered to middle-class travelers, but over the decades, as the surrounding neighborhood, known as Skid Row, declined, the hotel became infamous for tragedy, violence, and criminal activity. The Cecil Hotel had served as a temporary residence for notorious serial killers, including Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, in the 1980s, and Austrian murderer Jack Unterweger in 1991. Numerous suicides had also occurred at the property over its long history. At the time of Elisa's stay, parts of the building had been renovated and rebranded as Stay on Main, a budget hostel intended for young tourists, though it shared elevators and common areas with the Cecil's long-term residential tenants. Elisa was initially assigned to a shared hostel-style room on the 5th floor. However, after her roommates complained to management about her erratic behavior, notably locking them out of the room and leaving strange notes on their beds, she was moved to a private room on the same floor. By February 1st, 2013, Elisa was scheduled to check out of the Cecil Hotel and travel north to Santa Cruz. On that day, however, her daily call to her parents never came. Knowing how diligent Elisa was about checking in, her parents immediately grew concerned. When they were unable to reach her, they contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. By February 2nd, her family was flying to Los Angeles to assist authorities in the search. When LAPD officers inspected Elisa's room, they found her belongings still inside. Her wallet, ID, laptop, and medicine were left behind. She had simply vanished without leaving a trace, without checking out, and without taking her essential items. The LAPD launched a full-scale missing persons investigation, deploying bloodhounds and searching common areas throughout the historic hotel. During the first week of February, detectives from the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division took over the case. Officers searched the hotel room by room, focusing heavily on the 5th floor where Elisa was last assigned. They checked utility closets, hallways, and fire escapes. Police brought search dogs into the building. The dogs tracked Elisa's scent through the hallways and toward a window that led to an exterior fire escape. However, the scent was lost at that point, giving investigators no definitive proof that she had left the building or remained inside. Because the Cecil Hotel was massive, housing hundreds of guests and permanent residents, interviewing everyone was a daunting task. Detectives also inspected the roof, though the initial visual search did not reveal any obvious signs of human presence or forced entry around the locked roof doors. Days passed, and the case began to stall. On February 14, 2013, in an effort to generate public leads, the LAPD released a 4-minute surveillance video taken from inside one of the Cecil Hotel's elevators on the date of Elisa's disappearance, February 1st. The footage immediately transfixed the public. In the video, Elisa enters the elevator dressed in a pink hooded sweatshirt, black shorts, and sandals. She presses multiple floor buttons at once, including buttons for several upper floors, and then steps back into the corner of the elevator cab. When the elevator doors fail to close, Elisa becomes visibly anxious. She peeks out into the hallway, steps out, looks side to side, and steps back in. She then steps out into the hallway again, making unusual, fluid hand gestures as if gesturing to someone out of frame or swimming through air. Moments later, she walks off camera to the left, and the elevator doors finally open and close several times before the video ends. The release of the elevator video caused an unprecedented internet storm. Within hours, the footage was uploaded to platforms across the world, accumulating tens of millions of views on YouTube and Chinese media sites like Youku. Web sleuths began analyzing every frame of the 4-minute clip. Many noted that the timestamps on the footage appeared scrambled or slowed down, leading to suspicions that the video had been edited before release. Others pointed out that the elevator doors remained open for an unnaturally long time, fueling theories that someone off-camera was holding the door button or interacting with her. Conspiracy theories rapidly multiplied. Some claimed supernatural forces were involved, citing striking parallels between Elisa's case and the 2005 horror film Dark Water, in which a woman drowns in a building's roof water tank. Others speculated she was fleeing a stalker under the influence of drugs or involved in a covert government operation. While internet speculation raged, residents of the Cecil Hotel were enduring increasingly poor living conditions. By mid-February, the water flow from hotel taps had dropped to a trickle. When turned on, the water reportedly ran dark and carried an unpleasant smell and taste. On the morning of February 19, 2013, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez was tasked with inspecting the roof supply system. To reach the 4 1,000-gallon water tanks situated on the roof, Lopez took the elevator to the 15th floor, walked up a stairwell, unlocked a secure roof access door, and climbed an exterior ladder to the top platform. When Lopez reached the 4th tank, he noticed the access hatch on top was open. Looking inside, he made the horrifying discovery. Elisa Lam's body was floating face up in the water. Firefighters had to cut open the side of the heavy metal tank to extract her body safely. The Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner Coroner conducted an extensive autopsy on Elisa Lam. In June 2013, the coroner released the official findings. The cause of death was ruled an accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. The post-mortem examination found no evidence of physical trauma, sexual assault, or defensive wounds. Toxicology tests were performed to check for illegal drugs, alcohol, or toxic substances. The results were negative for illicit drugs and recreational alcohol. Crucially, tests revealed trace amounts of her prescribed medications, but concentrations indicated that she was under-medicated or had stopped taking her prescriptions regularly prior to her death. Medical experts noted that abruptly stopping or improperly taking medication for bipolar disorder can trigger severe manic episodes, psychosis, or paranoia. Following the autopsy report, LAPD investigators and forensic experts sought to clarify several crucial facts that had been distorted by media rumors. First, early media reports had claimed the water tank's heavy metal hatch was found closed and locked from the outside, a detail that fueled homicide theories. However, maintenance worker Santiago Lopez explicitly testified in sworn court depositions that the hatch was completely open when he climbed the tank on February 19th. Second, regarding access to the roof. While the main roof doors were locked and equipped with emergency alarms, the roof could also be accessed via unmonitored exterior fire escapes. The elevator behavior, which appeared mysterious to viewers, was explained by elevator technicians. Elisa had repeatedly pressed the door hold button, which keeps the doors open for approximately 2 minutes before resuming normal operation. In the months and years following the tragedy, investigators systematically debunked the most popular conspiracy theories surrounding the case. One widely circulated internet theory linked Elisa's death to a local tuberculosis outbreak in Skid Row, pointing out that the diagnostic test used by health officials was named Elisa. Health authorities confirmed this was a complete coincidence. Elisa stands for lipoarabinomannan enzyme-linked immunosorbent, a medical acronym in use long before Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles. The consensus among law enforcement, medical examiners, and mental health professionals was that Elisa experienced a severe psychotic breakdown stemming from untreated bipolar disorder. Driven by hallucinations or extreme paranoia, she likely fled to the roof via the fire escape, climbed into the open water tank believing she was hiding or seeking safety, and was unable to climb back out of the deep, slick container. The story of Elisa Lam remains one of the most poignant and misunderstood cases of the digital age. It sits at a troubling intersection between human mental health, sensationalized media, and the insatiable appetite of online mystery culture. While internet sleuths search for ghosts, killers, and government conspiracies, they often overlook the tragic reality. A bright, creative young woman lost her battle with a devastating medical condition thousands of miles from home. Elisa's personal writings on Tumblr remain online today as a quiet archive of her thoughts, dreams, and everyday life. Her death exposed the darker side of internet culture, where real human suffering can be converted into content and entertainment. But stripped of all sensationalism, the documented record reveals a simple, devastating truth: the heartbreaking loss of a young life, remembered by those who love her not as an internet mystery, but as a daughter and friend.